Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy. So it is now 2024, we're a week into 2024, and I very recently looked at my TBR cart and I was like, I am only interested in like half of these books right now. I want my TBR cart to be like the top books that I'm really looking forward to, just because like I can easily grab them and then like they stay on fresh in my mind as much as possible. I don't know if that makes sense, but I want them to be like the top books that I want. So I redid my TBR cart. I also made these like adorable little magnets. Like I made these out of clay and I like bought little magnets and I just hot glued them. But I made these myself. So now my TBR cart is like super cute and I'm in love with it. But I went through my bookshelves and I grabbed all the other books that like are really on my mind right now and I switched it out and I redid it. So I have a bunch of books on my TBR cart, but I took the top 10 books that I want to read in 2024 and I'm going to talk about those with you guys today. So I have my top 10. It's in no particular order. Some of them are new books. A lot of them are newer books, but some of them aren't so much. They're just ones that I've had that like I really want to read right now. But yeah, so we'll just get right into it. The first book is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This I know is like an urban fantasy type of story. I don't know too much more about it. I feel like I've heard that there's like warring families and like a lot of political drama, family drama type of thing. I'm just gonna read the back though, that will make it easier. For centuries, honorable greenbone warriors have used magical jade to enhance their abilities and defend the island of Kekon from foreign invasion. Now the war is over and a new generation vies for control of Kekon's bustling capital city. Four siblings of the powerful Kull family must prepare for battle, and the fragile peace between the clans is about to break. Okay, yeah, so that's like pretty right. I was pretty right. But I've heard such good things about this series, and it's a trilogy. And I've had this on my shelf for a few years now. I think like 2 or 3 years. I just really want to read it. I think this is the year that I get to this trilogy. So yeah, Jade City. Then I have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I know that Jennifer Lynn Barnes wrote the Inheritance trilogy or the Inheritance Games trilogy. I don't really know. I'm not like huge into YA, I would say, but for some reason this series is kind of calling to me lately. I've been seeing a lot of people read it and it just seems different and fun. It's like Criminal Minds but for young adult, and that is something that I wouldn't normally pick up because I'm kind of a baby, but since it's young adult it might work for me. Yeah, so it follows a girl named Cassie and she has like a natural ability to read people, and she gets chosen by the FBI because of this ability, and she's paired with other teens that also have really special abilities, and like they're able to be very helpful in like these investigations and like do detective work. That's basically what this is. I know this is a 4-book series and this very short, nothing crazy, so I feel like I can knock this out pretty quickly. I don't know why, it's just been calling to me, so I really want to read this and I want to read it soon. I feel like crime mystery things are kind of a winter thing for me, you know what I mean? I don't know, I'm interested. And then I have one that I picked up just very randomly at Barnes. I'm not really on social media right now, and I've been watching a lot of booktube, but even that I've been like less on than normally. So I just picked this up, but apparently it's very good. It is The End of the World is a Cul-de-sac. It's a collection of short stories by Louise Kennedy. I hadn't personally heard of it, but a friend of mine had heard of it, and she said that it was like she's heard that it's really good. And I just love this cover. Like, this is crazy. Like, the lime green, like, neon green. And I have, like, another collection of short stories that also has, like, these, like, dogs on it. I don't know why. So, like, it makes me want to read kind of both of those short story collections. But from the blurb, it makes it sound like these short stories are kind of connected by themes of, like, women's rage. And I've been wanting to finally read books that are like that. Like I always love like movies that have women's rage, and I'm like, I need to read some stories or novels. So I feel like this might be a good place to start because it's short stories. So it's like I can read a short story and like put it down and like see like how I'm feeling about this theme and like gauge that. But this cover is just so intriguing. I'm just so into this. I don't know. And again, short and sweet, short stories, easy to consume. I'm really hoping that I'm gonna love that. Fourth, I have The Overstory by Richard Powers. This is an old, like, not an older book, but it's been out for quite a while. My uncle gave me this copy, apparently. I think he probably just had it, so he gave me the hardcover. But it won the Pulitzer Prize, and I recently took a modernism, like, post-colonial, like, theory literature course, and my professor was really into eco-criticism as well, and this book is very eco-criticism. It's about trees. I mean, it's about much more than trees, I'm sure, but I know that trees are a big thing in this. But apparently it's absolutely phenomenal and beautiful, and I don't really know too much about the story itself, but I don't know. I've been wanting to read more eco-critical type of literature, and this is definitely up there, especially since it's won the Pulitzer Prize. So it's pretty high up there on my list as well. And I did read some eco-criticism myself, like Weather by Jenny Ofel. I read that one a few years ago, and I thought it was really good, and I liked like the premise or like the idea of eco-criticism. It's just not talked about or written about that much yet. I feel like it's like a newer thing. So I'm just interested in this. I want to see what it says and see what I think about it. Then I have one that was all the rage a few years ago. My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. Of course, this cover is iconic. The hot pink. Like, it's very similar, like, literal same exact vibes. Same exact vibes. It's like a thing, I guess. It's like people knew that this popped off and now everybody wants to do it, I guess. Because I see this kind of vibe, like this kind of cover vibe everywhere. But I've been wanting to read this since it became popular a few years ago, and I just haven't picked it up. I haven't been in the mood for it, I guess. But I am, but I'm not. I just don't end up picking it up for whatever reason. There's no reason. But this basically follows a young woman who is very depressed and mentally ill, and basically she wants to take an entire year to rest and relax. And it involves her basically being extremely heavily medicated, and she like sleeps for like an entire year. So it's like no plot, just vibes. And apparently this main character is not really the best type of person, like, which I love. Oh, my dog was gonna sneeze. That was really funny. But I'm really interested to see like this character study, I guess. I haven't read anything really much like this. So I'm really interested. And I want to see if the hype is worth it, especially because I've been interested in Otessa Moshfegh's other books, but I feel like I don't want to pick any up until I read this one. You know what I mean? So I want to see how I feel about this one and see if I agree with all the hype. And then I have one that I have been dying to read, and I finally bought it. It took me like a year to buy it. Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. I loved The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I haven't read The Atlas Paradox yet. And I have a bunch of her books. I have like so many. My fiance like loves like the covers to her books typically. So he'll buy them for me because he's like, oh, this looks super cool. And he like doesn't even know that he's buying the same author for me over and over again. But Alone with You in the Ether, I've heard so many good things about this book. Like, this one I feel like is the most well-loved of her novels and the most talked about as of late. I know this is like a romance type of thing. I assume there's some sort of magical element to the story because she always writes magical things, and I found this in the fantasy section, so I'm not fully sure. I know two people meet in like an art institute, and there is some sort of love affair that goes on. That's all I really know. That's all I kind of want to know, honestly. I've just heard enough good things that's enough for me to want to pick it up. But it sounds so good, and I love Olivia Blake's writing, like, so much. I love her writing. I think it's phenomenal. Then we have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Again, I feel like these are just like books that I've heard a lot of hype about. I literally was just telling myself the other day that I want to stop giving in to so much hype. But in my defense, these all sound like books that I would genuinely enjoy, or that I think that I would enjoy. And this is no exception. I feel like that I would love this. So this one says, after centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again, but 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction, and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish, and into the hands of Rome and Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother, the fate of mankind, and love. See, that sounds phenomenal to me. These newspaper workers, they're rivals, so it's like rivals to lovers, I guess. Like anonymous type of thing. War. Sounds so good. And I just heard such good things about it. Like everyone that I know loves this book. Super interested to read that as well. Then I have one that was most definitely a cover by, and I'm not sorry. The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. So this cover is so stunning. Absolutely love this cover. The Berry Pickers is basically follows, it takes place in the 60s, and there is this indigenous family in Nova Scotia, and their youngest daughter, Ruthie, goes missing. She's only 4 years old, and her older brother is like distraught for years to come. That's what the blurb says. And then it also follows this other family, and this girl named Norma, and she's growing up in Maine with a white affluent family. However, there's something like a family secret no one is telling her. She's having these dreams or these flashbacks that feel like memories, and she's trying to uncover the secret. So I'm very intrigued by that. I'm very intrigued because obviously it seems that the Ruthie, the kidnapped girl, is Norma, and I want to see the connections here, and I want to see why, and I want to see what happens here. I just am very, very into this. I'm very intrigued. And the cover, come on. Then we have The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. So I have heard a lot of people talk about this. I've seen really, really great things about this. This is an Irish story, and it's like a generational family type of story. I don't know too much about it, if I'm gonna be honest. I know the blurb talks about like the apocalypse and like proofing for the apocalypse for this family, and like just weird behavior, and they're basically like seeing how far you can go back in this family's history where things don't end up the way they're ending up. I don't know if that makes sense, but like they're seeing how far back it takes to change the way this family is, I guess, which seems really cool. I love generational like family stories, and I love character studies, and I feel like this is gonna have a great mix of that and a great example of that. And I do like this cover as well. It's very simple, but I like the colors and the words. I think it looks really cool. I like the watercolor vibes here. And then I just have one more. I have the iconic Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I have been so wanting to read this book recently. I think I can't help but say it is the new covers. I like the new covers a lot. I hated the old ones. I wasn't a fan of them, and these are really floppy, which is also nice. And it's just like had like a resurgence because I think of the new cover releases. People have loved these books, and people are like, I don't know. So I liked ACOTAR as a teen, but I haven't read ACOTAR since I was like 16. I'm almost 24. I'm just not interested in that anymore, just 'cause I've already read it. It's like so far deep in my brain. So now I'm like, okay, Throne of Glass and Crescent City, but Throne of Glass seems more up my alley because I know Crescent City is like an urban fantasy, which I can sometimes be iffy with. I'm very like classic fantasy. Anyways, that ramble. That's why I'm more interested in Throne of Glass. I know it follows, I believe, an assassin. Yeah, an assassin. And it is in like a very traditional fantasy realm, and you have a plethora of characters, and it expands for so many books, and I just feel like I really want that right now. Like I really enjoyed reading Game of Thrones this past year. I'm on the 5th book right now, so I'm like, I need another long fantasy series that I can really get into and love these characters and think really hard about. So it is time to start Throne of Glass. That's gonna be like my main series this year, I think, because I'm just so excited. So those are the 10 books that I am most excited to read in 2024 and that I really, really want to get to. I do make a list of this, and I put it in my reading journal every year, and every year I fail. So I'm gonna do my best. I really do want to read these books. But yeah, let me know what your top books are for 2024. If you read these books, let me know if you like them. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again soon.